scrappers, recyclers, and refiners. Moose here again. So this is going to be one of the last videos for Gold Recovery Month. We're going to be doing the refining of the gold that I got from the 1 pound of fingers. Sorry, it's early and it's cold out. So, all right. So you look at the gold in there, and you know this is a small batch. All right. Now, with this refining process, it's important to note that it's okay that there's little chunks of green crap in there. There's, you know, I think a label sticker in there. That's fine. It's all going to come out when we filter it anyway. So make sure that you pay really close attention to what I have here on the table. This is everything that you're going to need, specifically what you're going to need. So let's take a look. Alright, so to start off, you're going to need your gold that you're going to process. You're going to need muriatic acid, 31.45%. You're going to need bleach, regular household bleach. This says concentrated, but it doesn't really make a difference. Just regular household bleach is fine. And you're going to need sodium metabisulfite. Now, you can substitute this with some other things like bonide stump out that has sodium pyrosulfite. But if you want to do this, you do it right and get the stuff that you need. This I got for $3 on eBay, and that's gonna be enough to, process, quite a bit, a few ounces of gold. So you're also going to need some water. You're going to need a glass stirring rod. You can also use a plastic spoon if you want, but glass would work better. A funnel with a filter and a container clean container to filter all your fluids into. All right, you're going to need a respirator. All right, make sure it's rated for this type of usage, rated for acid vapors. And of course, rubber gloves. It'd be good to have a rubber apron on, which I don't have, but this is small scale, and I'm going to be very careful. And protective eyewear. All right. So first of all, we're going to add some bleach to this. I'm going to put 25 milliliters, roughly. So that's about, well, I got 40 milliliters in there. Now, yeah, there's some color in there, and that's because my beaker had some stuff drop in it, but that's no big deal. We're out here in Maine, so if it looks funky colored, that's just debris from it being fall. So I'm going to pour that in there. Seal that up and put it away. Now I'm going to add 100 milliliters of muriatic acid. Now this is where the fumes are going to start to get intense. So I'm putting on the respirator. If you have a hard time hearing me, I apologize. Alright, so that's all that you're going to need, about 100 milliliters. It's going to be quite reactive. Pour it in a little at a time. Now you're going to want to stir it until all the gold foils dissolve. Now keep in mind that right now it's also about 37 degrees outside, so that's going to make it work a little slower. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit for a moment. You can see that all the gold foils are pretty much all gone. I'm just going to let it sit for a moment. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to filter out the solution to get all that crap out that was in there. I even had something that fell down from a tree. Alright, so now I'm going to take, while that's filtering out, I'm going to take, well, let's say about 70 milliliters of water. It's not an exact science, I guess it's just kind of rough. Now, there are formulas to figure out how much sodium metabisulfite to use if you know how much gold is in there, but we don't. So I'm going to mix about 2 to 3 teaspoons of this into water and dissolve it. Now, as you can see, that hardly used any. Alright, so we're going to stir it up, then get it all dissolved. Alright, so right now the reaction is pretty calm, so there's not a whole lot of fumes right now, so I just took the respirator off for a minute. But as you can see, it's pretty slow to filter, but the liquid itself is going to be nice and gold color. So, you can see it right there, nice and gold, you're doing it right. Now, I know I have another video on this, where I did this process to take some gold off of some ink ribbons, and of course, the ink contaminated it, so the color made it look, the color look quite weird. But in this case, because everything is pretty clean, with the exception of friggin' plant life, the fluid is going to be nice and gold. Now, it's going to be nice because as soon as we add sodium metabisulfite, you're going to see a very quick reaction. If you don't see a quick reaction, don't add more sodium metabisulfite. All right? That just means that you don't really have much gold in the solution. And a lot of people, it's a big mistake that a lot of people make, is they think that they can recover gold from 10, 15 RAM chips and get a perfect reaction in this solution and end up with a nice little nugget of gold. Well, it's just not true. I mean, 15 RAM chips, there's hardly any gold in there at all. So you want to make sure that this is why I do this only twice a year, to make sure that I have enough gold in there so that this all works well. Now, these filters, make sure you don't throw them out. Alright? You want to save them. When you have a whole bunch of filters, you're gonna burn them up and melt them down, and you'll find yourself a nice little gold BB in there. So save everything. Alright, so we've got 400, it's got 250 milliliters here. I believe this is called auric chloride or chloroauric acid, but keep in mind that this much solution could actually hold a few ounces of gold. So you don't need to keep more than this, at one time. You can just keep reusing that to dissolve gold until you're ready to precipitate. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to slowly add the sodium metabisulfite that's dissolved in water, and you should see a pretty quick reaction. Alright, so you see how it got really dark and muddy? So at this point, we're going to let it sit for a few hours, and what you're going to notice is this is going to start to get clear and work its way down. The gold is just going to settle right down to the bottom, and you should be left with pure gold. Well, pretty much pure gold at the bottom. Now this process can be used to purify it as well. The more times you run it through, the purer it's going to get. This is going to be, pretty close to 99% pure, I think. Alright, so it is a couple hours later, and you can see in the bottom there, all the gold has dropped right to the bottom. The rest of the solution is clear. You can see that. Alright, now remember, at no point are you going to be adding urea. The only chemicals you're using in this process are hydrochloric acid, bleach, and sodium metabisulfate, and water. Alright, so at this point you want to make sure that when you're filtering off the solution, you want to try not to disturb the sediment at the bottom as much as possible. This gold powder is really, really, really fine, so I'm using 3 coffee filters. Alright, so you're left with your gold at the bottom. So as you can see, it definitely looks like a lot less than what we had to start off with all the foils, and that's to be expected. Kind of looks like mud, and that's to be expected as well. So the rest of this we're just going to let dry up, and then we're going to smelt it. Alright, so that's it for refining the gold. So that's it for the last of the, this is how you refine gold. You can also use this process for recovering ink from things like plates, cups, that kind of thing that have that gold trim on the end. That same solution of the bleach and the hydrochloric will take that into solution, pull it right off real easily. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and at the end of this video I'm going to put links to how to build the air bubbler using the air bubbler, and then a link to finally making the nugget afterwards, as soon as I get that video created and posted. But it's getting pretty cold out here, so I'm not sure when I'll be able to do that, but until then, see ya.